Hello, everyone. I hope everybody's enjoying a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Some of you may have wonderful weather. Others of you may be having snow. Some have 70 degrees. Others have -7 degrees. But welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to my sewing room. Hi, Tina. So glad of you that you could join me today. Yes. Hi, Anne. Yes, it's going to be one of those weird and wacky, wonderful Wednesdays today. Those ones that my sewing room are so popular. Anyways, I'm so glad you guys are tuning in. Hi, Esther. We are doing a month-long series in Wacky Wednesdays on chickens. If you could think of that silly things, chickens, yes. Anyways, it's going to be a chicken run. Yeah, for the whole month. Anyways, I'm so glad you guys could join us, and thank you so much for tuning in to our Facebook and YouTube for our things. Hi, Nancy. Thank you for liking us, giving us thumbs up, for loving us. Hi, Ruth, for sharing. Hi, Shelley, for just putting word out there, letting everyone know that we're here and we're having some fun. And remember that we do this Monday to Fridays at 4:15. We go live, and it's not always fun and weird and wacky. Other times it's fun, but in a different way, right, Dorothy? Hi, Dorothy. Yeah, sometimes they're talking serious stuff. Other times it's kind of weird, like myself. Sometimes it's Freaky Fridays, and that's kind of fun as well. Hi, Robin. How are you? Anyways, it's really good. So anyways, welcome to Wacky Wednesday. Today's is all about little chicks. So I'd like to welcome you, but also to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in last week. So, of course, we have some notables here. Ruth C., Teresa W., Carol and Paul, Lana T., Ann L., Nicola P., Sandy A., Loanne F., Nancy C., Chris L., Shelley M., Geraldine M., Teresa S., Tina B., Linda N., Jean and Maui Jim, Robin S., hi, Carol, Carol G., geez, that's funny, you just signed in just as I was about to say, and Carol G., Glenda and Mike, aka Betty and Wilma, Betty L., Mary Z., and Rose L. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to different Wacky Wednesdays. And as I say, today is called Little Chicks. Now, actually, today, believe it or not, is National Candle Day. So I got thinking, well, national candles. I have all sorts of different kinds of candles, some for every season, some for every decoration. So what do you do with these candles? Well, I think you should make some candle mats, right? Candle mats. Well, I have to tell you, when I started looking into this, we found out that it was all about slow stitching. Ooh, that's scary, scary slow stitching. I have to show you the very first project I made when we were doing slow stitching. And it is a little candle mat. And this one has little flowers in bees and little trails between the bee and the flowers. I guess he's collecting honey for that nectar for making that honey that we did not too long ago. And of course, there is a crystal rock candle holder. I thought that looked really pretty with that. I have to tell you though, when I did that project, we were doing hand sewing for the first time, and after I was done, I took it all back to Dawn and said, here, you can keep this because I'm not very good at it. Anyways, time has changed. Time has passed. And I want to say that some of my candle mats are a little bigger than others. For instance, this one is a friendship star made by one of our friends in our guild, in our group. And she made a star for each of us. And of course, one of my favorite colors is pink, so she made my middle star pink, but she made one of those for all of us. So for me, that looks absolutely wonderful on my dining room table, and I have a special candle holder just for that one. I think that turned out really nicely. So I got brave. I got very, very brave and decided to try another one. I laugh. But this one is so cute. Look at this little guy. Isn't he adorable? He's a little chicklet. He is actually from the Bareroots pattern called Little Stitches. He's number 136 Chicks Candle Mat. And I think he just looks adorable. So I thought, you know what? That's my sample. That's what I'm showing you guys. I'm going to show you how that one got made. All right. Anyways, that is really cool. So I gathered up all of the things that I thought we might need, including some jokes. And as I was gathering up the jokes, I realized that I think my house is haunted. Yes, it's haunted by a chicken. Yeah, it's called a poultrygeist. It's a very foul spirit. But I plan to get an exorcist to help me get it to cross over to the other side. Anyways, so I'm sorry, but the poltergeist is with us today. And so I'm a very old hen doing a little slow stitching today. Now that little joke was from Anne. So I'd like to thank her because we have lots of people who help us find jokes and do jokes. So in order to do our Bareroots pattern, that's him, we need a few things. Well, of course, we are going to need some felt. And I have a selection of felts for us. And, you know, it just depends on what color you would like to see your little chicks, what color you want to see their little beaks and feet. And of course, you need some matching DMC floss to go with those. So I picked out quite a few different colors that would go with our feet and beaks and with our chicks. And then of course, black, because we got to put their little eyes in. The other thing that you're going to need to do this, of course, is some embroidery needles. And I use the Clover gold embroidery needles numbers 3 through 9 because we are going to use different amounts of the little stitching threads to do the chickens. Now, I had a little dilemma. How do I stick these little chickies on the mat in order to keep them there long enough for me to hand sew them? So you can use the Sewline glue pen, or if you have a very thin glue pen of any kind, you can use that to stick them down. Oh, I got adventurous. I decided I would use Wonder Under. Well, don't forget your applique mat, right? Or you'll be cleaning off your iron. But I tried that and I managed to get them to stick down. Wonder Under and felt aren't the best friends, but they do work eventually, and I was able to get most of them stitched down. So being who I am, not knowing much about stitching, I put my two backings together without realizing that as I stitched it together, and you stitch on this, all the threads show. So I actually have a third backing piece on mine because I got the two sewn together and then realized, oh, the threads show. So put a third backing fabric on. It looks quite cute actually with a third rim. But that is the other color of felt you need, a dark brown or a light brown or black and a brown. Just something that will make the little chicks stand out. Ugh, speaking of chicks, why are chickens so silly? Because. And I'd like to say that joke is dedicated to you by Maureen, who is my chicken guru. Anyways, all right. So once I got them all stuck down, I was a happy camper. Then I did some needle threading. You have to use floss, of course, and of course it comes 6 strands. Part of it you use a single strand, part of it you use 3 strands. 3, 1 and 3. Anyways, and stitch it down. Well, I laughed so hard and giggled so hard because not one of my little chickies is exactly the same as the other one. They all have different beak sizes, it seems. They all have different eye sizes, and their little legs, some are shorter than others. But I had such a good time stitching this down. I told my husband, though, that my little beaks, you know, are okay, but the eyes, one is bigger than the other. So I was thinking, poor little things must have got hit on the head because they have a hematoma in their eyes. One pupil's blown bigger than the other. Anyways, that was delightful. So I've got to say that slow stitching has actually been kind of fun. All right, so I want to show you the 4 stitches that this pattern uses, and I'm not sure how the best way to do it, if it's over the top or if it's close up. Let's see. So what I did was oh, that's kind of dark. Let's try the over the top. Okay, no, that's no better. Let's go back to close up. So I've got a thread of needle and thread here. I have started it on the back, and the very first stitch they had us do was what they called a whip stitch. Well, as it turns out, it's just a straight stitch. You just come up and go back down straight, so you get a straight line. So that was easy enough. And those ones you use to tack down the little chickens. So you just do a little straight stitch, and you just follow along your chicken. So in you go and out you go, and that was just called a whip stitch. And you just keep it straight and follow along your chicken. So I don't know if you can see my whip stitches here, but they go all the way around the little chickens. And then of course we had to do what they called a back stitch for the little chicken legs. So when that starts, you start making a stitch, and you go ahead. Ooh, my hat fell off. Whoops, a chicken came down. We'll put the chicken back on in a minute. And then you actually pop ahead a stitch, and then you come back in the hole of the last stitch and go down that hole. So it actually looks continuous, like a continuous stitches, and you just keep them tight together. And that's what made the chicken foot. Now, that was the leg part. When you get to the chicken foot, you just actually take your stitch off in a different direction. So you give him little three little toes on his feet. So there's your straight stitch, and then you take off in another direction for the toe, and then come back in the hole. Right, and then we do it again for the stitch going out the other way for the toe, and then back into the hole, and then we go back out for the third side to make the little toes on his third foot, and that's called a back stitch. So you're filling in, you're going ahead and then coming from behind and filling it in. So whip stitch and back stitch were the first 2 stitches we had to do on the poor little guy. So here's his little back stitches with his little feet, and they're so cute. And of course, positioning these things, I got their heads a little close, but their feet are all different. Oh my goodness. Anyways, talking to Barb, she said that there's another thing you could do, which I thought was really hilarious. Instead of putting them all the same way, she said, why don't you try a light background with black, and you put one going one way, one going the other way, and you do the little whip stitches, and you run them past the outside, so it kind of looks like Velcro. So those would have been the Velcros. Anyways, I thought that was funny. All right, so those are the first 2 stitches you use, whip stitch, back stitch, and then you use the lazy daisy. It's like making a daisy. This one you use for their little wings. Now, you come up and go down in the same hole, pop up and then you wrap your thread around the needle and pull it out. So you have a loop. Don't pull it too tight because you want your daisy to show. And then you go back down just on the other side of that hoop. Ba-doop. There he is. And it captures the little daisy. Oop, daisy. And those are what we used for the wings. So that was a daisy chain, except we're not making a whole chain. We're just doing 2 wings on each side. So up we come in the hole, up we come. All right, and then take a stitch outward. And as it goes out, wrap your thread around it, pull it out, leave a little loop, and you go back down in the same hole. And that was how we made the little chick wings. So that was kind of fun. That's a daisy chain stitch. That was fun. All right, so now the fun, then the second part comes in fun. All right, more jokes from my peeps out there. I have a little one whose name is Ava, who told this to her grandpa. What does a French hen say? Le boc, 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 le boc, boc, boc. She's adorable. She was only a few years old when she told her grandpa that joke. He is of French Canadian descent, so it was pretty funny. All right, the last stitch that you need to do for your chickens, of course, is the eye. And that is made doing a French knot. So there is our thread pulled through. Now I'm going to go back down the same hole, but before I do, I'm going to loop the thread around my needle, and they say 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then I take it right back down the hole I came up, and I'll try not to make those funny little eyeballs that aren't quite even. Ouch, poke myself. See, that's the other thing about slow sewing. You get a little knot in there, and next thing you know, his eye's blown. Let's try that again, because his eye didn't work so good. All right, let's go back up, and you wrap them around your needle 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then you go back down the hole you just came up. Let's see if I can do it this time. Ooh, oh, that's a nice eye. There's a nice eye for you. There he is, a little eyeball. Okay, let's do it one more time. Up you come. Now, as you're going back down, you wrap the threads, the floss, around your needle 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then we go back down that hole. And I'm not always nice and precise. Some of my eyes got a little bit wonky. Some were fatter than others, but it sure was fun to make little eyes. So those were the stitches that we did to make our little chicken candle mat. It was by Bareroots Little Stitches, and it's called Chick's Candle Mat. Chick's Candle Mat. So that was a lot of fun. I have to say that I guess slow stitching, as Anne calls it, is more fun than I thought it was. Anyways, there you go. Now, if you are really interested in doing slow stitching, there are lots of other things that you can do them. Now, I didn't think it was tough, but I got to ask you, where do tough chickens come from? Well, from hard-boiled eggs, of course. Yes. So other things that you can do that are fun little hand projects, more candle mats. Bareroots has a collection. It's called the birthday candle mat, which is really cute. And you can, instead of a candle, you put a little cupcake in it for the birthday person. And it says, "Happy birthday to you," along the stitching on the sides. Now, 2 weeks ago, I think it was, we did a bee theme, and we did Home is Where Your Honey Is. And here's a cute little beekeeper's candle mat that would go really nicely with that quilt we were working on. And that's adorable. And the other Bareroots Little Stitches pattern is the house candle mat. And this would be a cute little gift for housewarmings. It's a little little houses with trees and a candle in the center. So if you're interested in doing some more of the slow stitching by Bareroots, they have lovely, lovely little products. All right, other things that you can do slow stitching. We found some wonderful things. A book called Tiny Treasures, and it's by Kathy Schmitz, and it's miniature hand embroidery designs. And my goodness, now that is definitely some fancy stitching. And she does all sorts of things. You can have sheep, you can have birds, mushrooms, pears, French knots made flowers, good luck. Ooh, good luck. We need good luck because that's coming up to St. Patrick's Day pretty soon. But that's a lovely book called Tiny Treasures. It's miniature hand embroidery designs. And then you can do Peculiar Primitives. It's a collection of eclectic projects. They use hand-dyed wool, embroidery, quilts, dolls, pillows, and more. So there's all sorts of different things you can do for hand stitching. And my goodness, it's amazing what people can create. And this book has got everything. Oh, there, you can make woolly sheep. Oh, look at that. There's a Krabby Gabby. Ooh, my sister's nickname is Gabby. I wonder if I should make her a Krabby Gabby. Primitive dolls. Some of these are quite interesting. Table toppers. There's one with the crow. Remember the Velcros? Anyways, that's a good book. It's called Peculiar Primitives. It's by Robin Visons. All right, other books that are good. I'm pretty sure people have done things out of this book. It's called Stitched So Sweet. It's whimsical embroidery, patchwork, and applique, and it's by Tracy Souza. Anyways, more of that lovely hand stitching if you want to do it. And I found one more book that I thought was kind of fun. It's called Beautiful Botanical Embroidery. So botanical, I'm assuming that most of these are all plants that are in this book. And she makes some really pretty wreaths. They're gorgeous. Oh, look, she did them on tiny little things too. Little, almost look like stones, but they aren't. And then she tells you all the different products that you might need for these projects. Oh, look, there's the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She did that. Look, she did one on a handkerchief as well. And look at the beautiful bag with the top she did. That's beautiful. Anyways, that one's called The Beautiful Botanical Embroidery by Alice Makabe. All right, so that is my hand sewing collection, and I want to say thanks to Dawn, who just walked by, who helped me pick out the pattern for today's and encouraged me to try that hand sewing one more time, which I think turned out really, really cute. Now, I have one last chicken joke. It's, why did the chicklet hide? Because she was a little chicken. And that's our chickens. That's the first of our chicken shows. Now, we've been really, really busy here all day. Everybody's been working very hard to set up for our OESD event tomorrow. So happy. Now, So Happy dealer is here, the OSD dealer is here, and she's put out some of her samples, which I thought looked really nice with my candles. And I will, she has some really pretty ones. Look at this one with the sparkles. Like, this is all done with sparkle thread. It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh my, look at the one she did with the Santa. Oh, that's really beautiful. And my favorite, of course, is just here in the corner, this one right here. She's taken a beautiful woolly jacket, wool, I think it's wool, sure looks like wool, and has done some absolutely gorgeous embroidery on it. So that's what's happening for the next 2 days at our store, at my sewing room. We're doing Oh So Happy with OESD. And I sure hope if anyone is doing that one, you have a wonderful time. It is not slow sewing though. It is fast machine embroidery. All right, so I want to do a couple of announcements too coming up for the month of March. We do have some new owner classes. So if you did buy a brother sewing machine from us in the last little while or whenever, we do have a brother sewing class to get used to your new machine. It is Tuesday and Wednesday, March 7th and 8th. It goes from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And if you purchased your machine with us, it is free of charge. All you have to do is phone the store and sign up for that. Bring your machine and learn all about how it works. There is a kit fee because they do give you all of your class supplies, and that's $50. All right, so if you want to learn the big machines with Barb, we have another long arm renter certification class coming up. It's on Tuesday, March 14th. Goes from noon till 4, and that's a hands-on thing. You come and you actually use that machine and learn how to do it, and then you can rent the machine. So the class itself is $150 plus tax, and once you've learned that, you can rent our long arms, and we've got several. You can do your own designs, freewheeling, or do pantographs, and that's $30 an hour. All right, one more exciting event coming up, and that is on Wednesday, March 22nd from 10 a.m. till noon. We have a virtual event. It's with Schmitz, who is one of our needle suppliers, and it is a free event. You just have to phone and register with the store, and then we can send you the correct link so that you can join us that morning from 10 a.m. till noon, learning all about needles. What kind of needles there are, what you use them for, all of that type of stuff. Anyways, it's wonderful. All right. Hello. I see a couple comments. Frank, hello. Very nice. When you get a chance, please kindly film how to thread the sewing machine and how to wind the bobbin, please. Okay. So I'm not sure. You're looking at a brother machine, I suppose. I can certainly help you with that, Frank. If you're too far away, I'm sorry, but if you're in the city, take that brother sewing class with us, and they will show you definitely how to wind the bobbin, how to thread the machine, how to put the bobbin in, how to put the stitches and use those stitches. Anyways, maybe I'll pass that information about how to do the brother sewing machine to those other ladies that do, and the other people that do the classes for Facebook Monday to Friday outside of Wacky Wednesday. Anyways, so those are the events coming up at the store, and I hope that you enjoy sewing, whether it is with your machine or whether it's hand sewing, and having a really good time. I have to say, these chiclets were adorable, and it was so much fun, and my back even looks nice having put on a second one now that I figured out why you put the back on afterwards. Anyways, that is my funny for today, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in and finding out about slow stitching with little chicks. Yes, and I will be back next Wednesday, Wacky Wednesday. We'll have another wonderful chicken show for you. Don't tune out just because it's chickens. They love you. You love them. Anyways, have a good weekend, everyone, and I will see you